Hey everyone, in today's video, I want to talk about interconnects, cheap interconnects and pricey interconnects. And I found something that inspired me to come in here today and make this video because I want to tell you guys about it. Welcome back everyone. It's been a good couple of weeks since I uploaded a video. I've been busy with some personal stuff, but I've also been listening to a lot of music. I have some review units in. I have an integrated amp from Fez. It's all tube, 45 watts per channel, KT88. I've been listening to it. I've also been listening to new speakers that have arrived for review. Not necessarily new to buy, but new to me and this channel. The Martin Parker duos from Sweden finally did get here, and I've been listening to them nonstop. What a set of speakers. Review will be sometime this month in July. I also got a couple of boxes in from Galleon, the new preamp from Thomas over there. I'll be unboxing that in the next day or two. I also been checking out the Node Icon streamer and DAC, and I have some stuff to talk about with that piece as well, which I'll be talking about this month. But today I wanted to talk about something that is a big part of this hobby of ours, a big part of hi-fi, but it sometimes seems taboo to talk about. I'm talking about cables. Now, a couple years, maybe 3 years ago, I did a video about a set of speaker cables that I found on Amazon. At the time, they were like 30 bucks for a 12-foot pair. And I bought a bunch of them and narrowed it down to this one set that I thought were really, really good, and the price was unbeatable. They even got like 80% of my $3,500 reference at the time, but that was because my reference was a warmer leading cable, just like the ones from Amazon. But since I talked about that cable, it seems like they have sold a lot of those on Amazon to a lot of people based on my review, and a lot of people are happy with them. If you don't have a lot of money for speaker cables, that cable for, I think it's now 40 bucks, prices have went up. But even so, at 40 bucks for a 12-foot pair for a really good copper cable that's light, easy to move, has banana plugs, so easy to insert, no muss, no fuss, and they sound fantastic. Now, over the last, I'd say 6 months, I've been testing various interconnects because what I've found over the years in this hobby is that, for me anyway, interconnects tend to make a bigger sonic difference than speaker cables. So I had a goal in mind, and I said one day I'll make a video if I find something that works. I wanted to search for an affordable interconnect, something that doesn't cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now, for the last year or so, I've been using old original Nordist Valhalla V1 interconnects because I've been using balance, so I have XLR. And I also have Nordist Red Dawn balanced and RCA interconnects. I also have a few other RCA interconnects from other brands. But using those Valhallas, I really love that original Valhalla from 13 years ago. But even on the used market, these cables are like anywhere from 1,300 up to 2,000 plus for 1 meter, which is crazy for 13-year-old cables. Now, they're really, really good, but I wanted to search and see if I can find an affordable set of interconnects that sounded really, really good. Now, there's a lot of interconnects you can get for cheap, but some of them take away from the sound rather than let all of the sound come through. I've experienced interconnects up to 100 bucks that kind of flatten the sound, make the sound a little hard up top, decrease the bass. Some of them even flesh out the bass, but it's too much of a good thing. Interconnects do make a difference if you have a system that shows these differences, right? So I was using a higher end system to do most of these tests, pretty pricey speakers, pretty pricey amps. And these are pieces that should and do show the differences in cables. So away I went off to Amazon. I bought a bunch of interconnects under $100. And I found one set of RCA interconnects, and I'm switching back to RCA, by the way. So if any of you want to buy a used set of 1 meter Valhalla 1 XLRs in the wooden box, do drop me a line, or you can go to my website in the for sale section there. I have those cables up there. I am switching to RCA, but I found a set of cables that were like 30 some dollars for a 1 meter set. And I liked them so much, I went back and I bought 2 sets that were 3 meters each. So I have 2 3 meters and 1 meter. And listening to them, I was comparing them mainly to my Nordist Red Dawns. They couldn't match the Valhallas, but unbelievably, they bested in my systems here of mixing and matching the Nordist Red Dawn, which I believe are close to $1,000. I don't know of the current pricing, but they're somewhere between $800 and $1,200 for a meter. I've always liked Red Dawn cables from Nordist. I used to own the speaker cables as well as all the interconnects. They kind of have a light-footed, airy kind of sound about them. They're not known for their big bass presence, but they do allow all the details to come through. If you're looking for that holographic sound, the Red Dawns always seem to do really well. But I found a pair on Amazon of interconnects in the $30-ish range that I like better than the Red Dawns. And I know, that's controversial to say right there. I don't bash expensive products, and I also don't bash cheap products. I only talk about products that I would own myself, or that I buy myself, or that I think are worthy of a listen. So I found these cables. Let me grab them here. So here are the cables right here. They're RCA, right? They're well made. They're not flimsy in any way. They have solid connectors, and they kind of have a cloth red and black patterned sheath on the outside. Now, when I was comparing these to, say, 8 other ones that I bought on Amazon, these stood out because they just sounded... These actually can bring a holographic sound. They bring rich, textured bass. The mid-range is beautiful with these cables. I've been listening to these for the last couple of weeks, and my mind has been blown for what they cost. Again, no, they don't match the transparency and detail retrieval of, say, my Nordist Valhallas, but they offer something else. They offer a beautiful richness and tonality for a little bit of money, Now, there were cables that I bought that were $100 that didn't sound nearly as good as these. So since I've been listening to these for the last few weeks or couple weeks, I have really grown to like them. So I sat down in here and I wanted to make the video to tell you guys about these cables, because let's face it, we're living in a world today where things are getting more and more and more expensive. I've felt the blunt of this all over the last couple of years. I know many of you have as well. It doesn't seem to be getting better at this point in time. So a lot of you out there want to get into this hobby, but you don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to spend on it, especially for cables. So these cables here, they're RCA. You can buy them on Amazon via Prime, and I'll put a link in the description below, and I'll say it. Yes, if you use that link, you don't pay a dime, a penny more for these, but I'll make a few cents if you buy them. So if, say, 100 of you bought a pair of these cables, I'll make, I don't know, $20 or so. So I'm not doing this for the money, but it does help a little bit, and every little bit helps to keep this channel going. But that's not why I made the video. I made the video I'm making this video because this is an exceptional value. And just like those speaker cables I found, which these match the looks of really well, those speaker cables are red and black. These interconnects are red and black. The speaker cables are flexible and soft. The interconnects are flexible and soft. And they just sound fantastic. Just today I've been listening to them with the Node icon going into the Modrite LS99 and the KWA99 monoblocks. And I was switching between them and the Red Dawn. So I was listening to these cables and I had a nice fleshed out, detailed sound. The bass was beautiful. The mid-range was luscious. The top end was detailed, but a little bit smooth. Everything was sounding great. I was getting the holographic sound stage with well-recorded music. I then decided to plop in my Nordist Red Dawn RCAs. I didn't want to go to XLR. I went RCA to RCA. And when I sat down to listen to the Red Dawns, which I've always loved, the sound became a little thinner and leaner. The treble was a little more splashy, and the bass was a little bit leaner. And after going back and forth for the last couple of days, I preferred these cheaper $30-some cables. So if you're someone who's using those, red and white cheap interconnects that come with things sometimes, or you buy them for $5 or $6 at Best Buy or wherever, or if you're someone who just is looking for a better interconnect, but you don't want to spend a ton of money and you want RCA, these are a no-brainer. These, especially if you're using those really cheap interconnects, these will bring up your music to another level from those. It just will. So these are cables I can highly recommend. And going forward, when I do reviews of, say, amplifiers or any electronics, right? I'm going to use these more simple interconnects because let's face it, when I do reviews, if I'm using Nordis Valhalla for reviews, 99.9% of people who buy said electronics are not going to be using Nordis Valhallas with them, right? They're going to be using modest cables like this. So I'm going to be doing reviews from now on with electronics. I'll listen to them with pricier cables, but my review will be based on normal cables, right? And these are as normal as it gets, but yet they're high performance. So I'm not going to drag this video out anymore. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check these cables out. They are an outright bargain, an outright steal, and they come in 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter. They may even be longer. I said 2 sets of 3 meter and 1 set of 1 meter, and it was all under $100 for all 3 sets. And they sound fantastic. Enough said. That's all I have to say. I thank you all for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, comment, get involved. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.